That was my schedule.
Well, welcome. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Assembly Committee on Legislative Operations and Elections. Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Assemblymember Cole. Dickman. Edgeworth. Gonzalez. Hibbets. Howdy. Miller. Monroe Moreno. Moore. Nadeem. Chair Mosca.
I am here. Thank you so much. Please mark Assemblymember Hadagi present as she arrives, as well as Assemblymember Hibbets absent excused. And with that, we are excited. Welcome everyone here in Carson City, as well as those joining in Las Vegas and over the internet. Some housekeeping announcements. Please make sure you silence your electronic devices. If you wish to testify, please sign in at the table by the door and provide a business card to the committee secretary. When testifying, please turn on the microphone and clearly state your name and any affiliation for the record. Then turn off the microphone each time you're done speaking. There are hard copies of the meeting materials available for members of the public. Members of the public may also access electronic copies of the materials on the Nevada Legislature's website. Public comment will be taken at the end of the meeting. Each person will be limited to 2 minutes. In addition, the public may submit written testimony to the committee up to 24 hours after the meeting. We expect courtesy and respect in our interactions during the meeting, even if we do not agree with one another's position. And please know that committee members are viewing items like handouts on their laptops and other documents. So please do not view this as a sign of disrespect or inattention. So with that, I said we're excited because it's our first hearings this session for legislative operations and elections. We will remind everyone that presenters will have 15 minutes and then we will move on to questions. Today, we're going to be taking items out of order of the agenda and we will first hear AJR 6. I'm very excited to open the hearing on Assembly Joint Resolution 6. This measure urges Congress to extend the Social Security Fairness Act. Though Social Security is not an issue typically covered by this committee, AJR 6 is part of our legislative operations work as a committee since it is urging Congress to do something and it is a joint resolution. And with that, we're very grateful that we have Assemblymember Miller here, who used to chair this committee and is part of our committee, who will be presenting today. Assemblymember Miller, you may begin when you're ready.
Thank you so much, Chair, and I did not realize that I was the first hearing of the session, so I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Again, thank you, Chair Mosca and members of the committee. For the record, I am Brittany Miller, the Assemblywoman for District 5 in Clark County. I am pleased to present Assembly Joint Resolution 6. This resolution urges Congress to extend the Social Security Fairness Act. First, I need to briefly explain the government pension offset and the windfall reduction provision. Both reduced or eliminated Social Security benefits for people who earned both a pension and Social Security benefit. You already know that we pay into Social Security through withholding from our gross income. And with some occupations or places of employment, they also offer pensions. I want you to keep 2 key points in mind. First, Social Security is not an entitlement or assistance program. It is money literally withheld or taken from our paychecks over the years that will be returned to us based on multiple factors and a formula that weighs heavily on individual earnings and withholdings. Secondly, this primarily impacts public employees who have worked in both scenarios throughout their life, where they have paid into Social Security but have also earned a pension. I will use myself as an example. I am a second career teacher who has previously paid into and has already earned my 40 credits for Social Security. But because I am now in a public pension or PERS here in Nevada, the Windfall Reduction Provision Act, which was enacted in 1983, could have reduced my earned Social Security benefits by up to half. So when I retire, I would get the PERS, but they would have reduced my earned Social Security benefits. I checked on my own record, and according to my own individual Social Security statement in December 2024, they were already estimating that they would reduce my Social Security by $700 a month. Now, I'm clearly not the only one in this situation. In fact, this affects more than 2 million employees in the United States, mostly teachers, firefighters, and police officers, federal, state, and local government employees, and spouses and surviving spouses of teachers, firefighters, police officers, and government employees. And again, this is for people who have paid, who are both in Social Security and have a pension. On January 5th, 2025, House Resolution 82, the Social Security Fairness Act, a bill that Senator Lisa Murkowski has co-sponsored for over 20 years, finally became law. And I would like to acknowledge at this point the hard work and dedication of our own Nevada public service unions and advocates who lobbied Congress. Many did go to DC to support in this effort and celebrate this victory. The act repealed the government pension offset, which reduced or completely eliminated spousal Social Security benefits for public employees, regardless of whether their spouse paid Social Security taxes or not. It is estimated that the repeal of the government pension offset restored Social Security benefits to 9 out of 10 public employees who lost their entire spousal Social Security benefit. Those previously affected by the offset will now see an increase between $700 and $1,200 a month in their Social Security benefits. The Social Security Fairness Act also repealed the windfall elimination provision. About 11.8, so almost 12% of Nevadans are entitled to both a pension and Social Security benefits. And now they will see their Social Security benefits increase by as much as $558 a month. More than 2 million government employees and retirees in the United States now benefit from this repeal. The restoration of full Social Security benefits for public employees who also paid into Social Security was long overdue. The last few generations of public servants, teachers, firefighters, police officers, and other dedicated government employees had been penalized by being stripped of their benefits by the reduction or elimination of their Social Security that they rightfully earned. It's actually quite sinister that these employees would have received less Social Security benefits when they legally paid their fair share of Social Security taxes when privately employed. The Social Security Fairness Act retroactively applies to monthly Social Security benefits from 2023 forward. So thankfully, these employees will receive backdated payments for all of 2024, which on average equates to $4,320 a person. This is great for those who retired last year. But what about the others? Those who retired years ago or even decades ago? Where's all their money? AJR 6 is simple. It urges Congress to enact legislation to extend the Social Security Fairness Act to retroactively apply from December 2013 forward. This would allow Social Security beneficiaries to receive even more backdated payments of their duly earned Social Security benefits. If Congress were to pass such legislation, Nevadans who had been collecting a pension and Social Security benefits since 2013 would be entitled to roughly $47,000 in return payments for the amount of their Social Security benefits that were reduced between 2013 and 2023. With the current cost of groceries, housing, and healthcare, imagine how impactful this would be for our retired public servants. Some of them are your parents and your grandparents. This measure also urges the president to sign such legislation, if passed by Congress, and requires that a copy of AJR 6 be transmitted to the president, the presiding officers of the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives, and Nevada's congressional delegation. With that, Chair Mosca and members of the committee, thank you for your opportunity to present AJR 6. I hope that you join me in supporting this resolution, and I am open for any questions.
Thank you so much, Assemblymember Miller, and that was definitely below 15 minutes. So great job. Any questions from committee members? Yes, Assemblymember Cole.
There we go. So I have two questions, if that's okay, Chair. The first question is, I generally understand how Social Security works if I were to collect it myself after I retire. But can you explain a little bit more about how the spousal benefit works and the surviving spousal benefit? And then my other question will be like the dollar amount that we anticipate the federal government would pay out and that extra 10 years of back pay.
Sure. Again, Social Security is quite complicated, and there's all kinds of formulas that we can refer to online and such. So you are just like, there's multiple forms of Social Security. Social Security for if someone's disabled, Social Security survivors benefits, right? If you were to lose a spouse or a parent. So there's all different types, and those are given when your spouse has paid into it. So maybe you're a non-working spouse, just like you would be a non-working or dependent upon yourself minor. So those are available, but it's all calculated based on how much you input. And we don't decide, as you know, how much we put into Social Security. It's the percentage that the government dictates and takes. People do have a choice to pay into Social Security. So if you are a business owner or independent contractor, you do have a choice to do it, and I would personally advise to do it. But that's what I'll say. I don't want to get deep into the formula. And your second question was, the estimated cost. So I do not have that estimated cost. I know that there's been some opposition emails coming in with all kinds of different numbers. I'm not sure where those numbers came from. But no, I don't have the numbers of the cost.
Thank you, and I appreciated your presentation because it really, to me, seems like, yes, we paid into it, so that makes sense to me. My question was just, do you know why they chose 2023 when they made the legislation?
I have no specific, right.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
And it seems like, oh yes, Assemblymember Nadeem.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My question is what are the reasons that there's a reduction in Social Security payment?
You mean why originally the
Why it's
windfall
being cut? Yes.
why it was being cut?
Yes.
You know, I don't have the exact technical answer to that, of why it was enacted in 1983. That I do not. I can find it for you, but I do not.
Why there's a reduction in the payment?
Maybe you're asking how the provision worked. So the way it would work is, again, Social Security is based on what you pay into. And keep in mind, this is not impacting everyone. It's only impacting people that have been in both situations. So if a teacher was to start their career at 22 and worked their entire career in the system and under PERS, it doesn't impact them. Because very likely, most 22-year-olds have not earned, even if they had some part-time jobs, they had not earned 40 credits. They had not earned enough to really retire on. So it's the people that have worked, I shouldn't say worked, I should say that have paid into Social Security at a substantial level, which the last time it was told to me was $27,000 or more a year, and that you've earned your 40 credits. Now, there was an exception if you had worked 30 years paying into Social Security at $27,000 or more a year, then you were exempt from this. So even personally, I was like, well, I can leave teaching, get out, get back into Social Security. Then they couldn't touch either my Social Security or whatever I had accumulated in PERS. But it was a reduction because also, as a teacher now in Nevada, I no longer pay Social Security. So I'm no longer paying into Social Security, but I have earned my 40 credits throughout my life. So because I'm not paying anymore, that's part of the basis for it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Assemblymember Dickman.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for this. I was just curious, someone asked, why they did it at 2023. What made you decide to go 2013? How did you decide on that number?
maybe the same way Congress decided on 2023. Personally, I believe that we should go back to the day of retirement and from the moment that each individual retired and this benefit was not provided. But I know that that becomes very difficult in calculating and figuring and even locating and identifying retirees. So I also considered the age of most people. Again, we are retiring later. There's a generation, I have friends whose parents, and they all talk about that, how they all retired at 55, 57 years old. That's not necessarily the case right now, but I feel that 10 years is still a substantial return on your withholdings. Again, you see about 47,000 per person, but it was just a year, a time frame that I thought was enactable and able to, calculate.
Okay.
That was a long way of saying it was just arbitrary, and I thought
Yeah.
Let's go
Thank
back
you.
10 years.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It makes sense to me. Any other questions? Okay, thank you. So with that, we will hear testimony in support of HAR 6. Each person has 2 minutes to provide testimony. You can start filling up the chairs in both Las Vegas as well as up here in Carson City. I will be taking the time, so I apologize on the front end if I have to move us along. And if you are calling by telephone, the number is 888-475-4499 and enter the meeting ID of 875-2150-4237, and we will take 30 minutes for each block. So we will start here with support. Please don't forget to say and spell your name in the record, and you may begin when you are ready.
Good afternoon. My name's Dawn Echeverry, DAWN-ETCHEVERRY, and I am an elementary educator currently serving as the president of the Nevada State Education Association. Educators from Nevada have been working alongside the National Education Association for over 40 years to repeal the still of GPO-WEP. During the last 2 years, Nevada educators have sent thousands of letters and made hundreds of calls to our federal representatives, encouraging them to sign on to the bill. The signing of the Social Security Fairness Act on January 5th is a day not one of us will forget anytime soon. NSCA would like to thank the Assemblymember Miller for bringing this joint resolution, and we are ready again to set our advocacy at the federal level to make sure this is a reality. And to answer the Assemblymember's question, President Reagan decided we were double dipping, and that's why it was enacted, why we couldn't collect both.
Thank you. Next.
Hello, Chair and members of this committee. My name is Catherine Nielsen, last name Nielsen. I'm actually testifying as the daughter of a retired state employee. My mother was the tape librarian for the state of Nevada for over 25 years, what used to be the Department of Information Technology. She currently gets about $385 from Social Security, but all of that goes to Medicare. So she actually receives nothing from her Social Security, and that's a majority of people actually end up having to pay in, and they don't break even like my mom does. And so the average person pays about $185 a month for their Medicare on top of what they are paying out of their Social Security. So this would greatly benefit a lot of our retired state employees and particularly my parents. So thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Hi, my name is Kaylin Evans, and I am the president of the Washoe Education Association. We represent all of the certified professionals in the Washoe County School District. For decades, the government pension offset, GPO, and the windfall elimination provision, WEP, unfairly reduced or eliminated Social Security benefits for public employees. Educators, firefighters, police officers, and others who have dedicated their lives to serving Nevada. These provisions robbed retirees of the benefits they rightfully earned, leaving many struggling financially after a lifetime of public service. The 2025 repeal was a major victory thanks to relentless advocacy from educators in this state and across the country for decades. However, the repeal only applied to benefits from December of 2023 forward, leaving behind thousands of public employees who retired earlier and suffered the same unfair restrictions. AJR 6 calls on Congress to fully correct this, well, as much as possible, extending those reliefs back to 2013, just ensuring that all affected retirees get what they rightfully earned. We thank the Assembly member for bringing this resolution forward. Thank you.
Mr. Evans, could you just spell your name for the
I
record?
apologize. Yes, that is a Calen, and then Evans, Evans. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you so much. Next.
Good afternoon, Alexander Marks, MARKS with the Nevada State Education Association. NSEA fights for our members on the job and in retirement. Together with educators across the country, NSEA members advocated for retirement fairness for decades and finally won an important victory late last year with the repeal of WEP GPO. All 6 Nevada federal delegate members voted in favor of this. NSEA supported the Retirement Fairness Act to eliminate the GPO and WEP, which discouraged Nevadans from becoming educators, especially those mid-career considering a new job in education. The issue of retirement fairness was especially acute here in Nevada as our state struggled to fill thousands of vacant educator positions. With the largest class sizes in the country, the job of a Nevada educator is hard enough. WEP GPO only made matters worse. Over 35,000 Nevadans have had their Social Security benefits reduced to this, including thousands of retired educators. WEP reduced Social Security benefits of people who work both in jobs covered and not covered by Social Security over the course of their careers. For example, educators compelled to take part-time or summertime jobs to make ends meet. In an internal survey Nevada educators conducted last year, we found 30% of our members work a second job during the school year and another 34% work a summer job. With educator pay lagging behind the market, a second job is a necessity for thousands of Nevada educators. Penalties imposed on these struggling workers by WEP GPO is just plain wrong. The repeal of WEP GPO was an astonishing accomplishment. The passage of the Social Security Fairness Act corrects a 40-year wrong, but only beginning in 2024. The next step for true fairness in retirement is to make the repeal of WEP GPO retroactive, and NSEA supports AGR 6 to put Nevada on the record supporting another 10 years of retroactivity. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Good afternoon, Chair Mosca, Vice Chair Gonzalez, and fellow committee members. My name for the record is Terry Laird. I'm the Executive Director for RPEN, the Retired Public Employees of Nevada. We are a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization founded almost 50 years ago with the primary mission of this organization to protect the pension and benefits earned by all public employees, retirees, as well as those still working and hoping to earn that coveted PERS pension. We're here today in support of Assembly Joint Resolution Number 6 that urges Congress to extend the Social Security Fairness Act from 1 to 10 years. This may be a lofty goal, but we appreciate the effort from this body, and I know our members who've been penalized for years by the WEP GPO are so grateful for the long-awaited passage of H.R. 82 last year. RPEN has followed this issue since it arose many years ago. We joined forces on several attempts with the California Public Employees Association and also sent several resolutions as well, though none of those previous attempts succeeded. It is interesting to note that many organizations didn't hold out much hope for the latest effort, though this attempt did have bipartisan support, so our latest resolutions and petitions apparently did help it get it over the top. Our members in the North and South worked hard getting petitions signed and delivered, and our office also mailed out several resolutions to our Nevada delegation this year, or last year rather. We are elated with this success, and public employees in Nevada and 13 other states did their part too. It was a joint venture each and every time, and we're happy to see it end. We've also encouraged our members to weigh in today during this hearing, so hopefully you'll be hearing from a few more of them this afternoon who may share what that passage meant to them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And don't also be afraid to say ditto as well. So next.
Yes. Okay, good afternoon, Chair Mosca, Vice Chair Gonzalez, and fellow committee members. My name for the record is Lynn Ballator, Lynnne Ballatore, and I am currently the state president of RPEN. And I do want to start out by saying ditto for the testimony of Terry Laird. But I wanted to give a personal story. Personally, the WEP has greatly affected me and many people that I know. After getting my computer science degree, I lived in Las Vegas and worked for EG&G Energy Measurements, supporting the underground atomic testing program out of what was at that time the Nevada test site. I don't keep track of what they're changing it to be today. And I was a member of the Nuclear Emergency Search Team, or NEST. When I started at EG&G in 1974, I was told that EG&G has a terrible retirement, and I should put money into their savings plan. This was way before there was a 401k or an IRA. After 22 years as a salaried professional, my EG&G retirement doesn't even pay for my car payment route now. So they were right. I really didn't get a great retirement out of them. Luckily, I was also earning Social Security there. But when EG&G contracted in 1995, I moved from about 1 million people in Vegas to Dayton. It was a little bit of a change. But almost immediately, I started working here at LCB. I was in the IT department, working on a lot of your buttons here in these rooms, the front desk, the website, and the fiscal division's basin, which is the budget analysis system of Nevada, budgeting system. I feel lucky to have PERS, which often mentioned as one of the best in the country. But because I had 18 years in PERS and 22 in SSA, I have had the WEP taken from my Social Security. I started getting my Social Security 7 years ago. And it adds up
I
to.
am sorry that you're at 2 minutes, but you can submit your testimony as well, so we could have it for the record.
I already gave it to her. So
Okay.
that's pretty close to it, and thank you
Okay.
very much.
Thank you. Next.
Thank you, Chair Mosca. My name is John Abel, JOHN ABEL, with the Las Vegas Police Protective Association, representing vast majority of law enforcement officers in Nevada. I want to thank Assemblymember Miller for bringing this joint resolution, and I ditto everything everyone has said so far. We support this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, and if there's anyone else here, feel free to get in the chairs. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ryan Beeman, last name Beaman, representing the professional firefighters in Nevada. We've been in 100% support of the Fairness Act on a national level. The firefighters, this is a huge piece of legislation that's helping our members, not just the ones that are, it's our older retirees that have passed away, that leave behind a spouse, that their benefit when they did retire was reduced, and then they might not be eligible when that member passed away. And seeing this repealed, it will help out our members that the spouse that's still there with that money. So we support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Hello, Chair and members of the committee. For the record, Tess Opferman, that's TESSOPFERMAN, here on behalf of the AFSCME retirees. AFSCME and AFSCME retirees has been incredibly supportive of the Social Security Fairness Act. I'll keep these comments brief, but many of our retirees are missing out on benefits because of the windfall provision. And we were incredibly grateful that that bill was able to be signed in January, and we are grateful for this Assembly Joint Resolution to move that timeline back. So thank you for your support.
Thank you so much. Seeing no more support here in Carson City, we will move to Las Vegas.
Good afternoon, Madam Chairman, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Stephen Horner, Horner. I am a retired special education teacher, an Army veteran, and president of the Nevada State Education Association, retired. I'm just going to say basically ditto to my colleagues from NSEA, and I want to thank Assemblywoman Miller. I have submitted my testimony, and I say ditto. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and thank you for being here today, as well as everyone in the room. We really appreciate it. And with that, we will move on to our phone lines. I'll say it one more time. It was 888-475-4499 and meeting ID 875-2150-4237. So if you are on the phone line and ready to testify in support, AVH, you can please open the lines.
If you'd like to testify in support of HAR 6, please press *9 to take your place in the queue. Caller, you may go ahead. Please press star 9 or star 6 rather.
Caller, if you're there, if you press star 6 and say your name for the record, you can start. AVH, let's go to the next caller and hopefully they can call back in if they still want to testify.
Chair, there are no other callers with their hands raised at this time in support.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. And with that, next we will hear testimony in opposition of JR 6. So we'll start here in Carson City. And if you're somewhere we can't see you in Las Vegas, feel free to come. Oh, sorry, that's the timer. See, we really are timing. But if you're in Las Vegas, feel free to join the chair. So go ahead and start.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is Janine Hansen. I'm the state president of Nevada Families for Freedom. And I want to
I'm
first
sorry,
of all,
Ms. Hanson, if you want to spell your name for the committee secretary.
I gave him my card, Janinehannsen. I want to say first of all that I really appreciate Assembly Member Miller. She's always so kind to me, and I really want her to know that I appreciate her. I really wasn't against this until I started reading some of the figures that kind of alarmed me, and I just wanted to share those with you because I think it's something we all need to know about. The Congressional Budget Office recently released some information after the Social Security Fairness Act passed, and that was a cost estimate of $196 billion for that, the cost of the Social Security Fairness Act for between 2024 and 2034. And that cost will continue to rise. So I think we need to keep in mind that these aren't without a significant cost. We don't have an estimate, as the sponsor said, for how much this bill will cost. I couldn't find one when I searched online, but I think it's important to keep in mind that it will be significant. I think the other thing that I would like to share is that when I looked up on the Social Security Administration site, it said that right now they estimate that there will be full benefits for people on Social Security until 2037. And then after that, they don't have enough money. And that everyone's Social Security will be reduced, perhaps as much as only to 78% of what they're getting. So I think it's important to remember when we promote these that we do need to understand there's a huge cost in the future, and that we don't know who will be paying that, but it'll probably be us and those that are younger that are working. And so we need to keep those facts in mind. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else here in Carson City in opposition? With that, we will move to Las Vegas. Anyone in Las Vegas in opposition? Seeing none, we will move back to the phone line. So AVH, if you can open the phone lines for anyone calling in for opposition.
If you'd like to testify in opposition to AJR 6, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Caller with the number ending in 490, you are unmuted and may begin.
Hello, everyone. Cyrus Hojjati, Cyrus Hojjaty. I'm sorry for the background noise. I'm at the IBS convention. I will ditto the previous speaker. I do appreciate the speaker and the sponsor for addressing Social Security. It's very important. I am a young person. I wanted to stay afloat, but I just believe we should have a more state-driven solution. So other than that, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Next caller, please.
Yeah, I already spoke. Sorry, it asked me to unmute.
No problem. Thank you. AVH, do we have any more callers in opposition?
Yes, Chair, we have other callers. We'll get them unmuted for you here quickly.
Thank you so much.
Caller with the phone number ending in 864, your line is open and you're ready to begin.
Caller, we don't hear you. If you'd like to say your name for the record as well as spell it and begin.
I'm so sorry. I was muted on my end while trying to talk, so I apologize. Thank you for your
Perfect.
time.
We hear you now.
My name is Katie Banuelos. Okay, great. It's Banuelos. That's Banuelos. I'm calling representing the Libertarian Party of Nevada. I kind of want to echo what people have said before me. Social Security is in terrible shape. It's essentially the way it was established. It's set up a lot like a Ponzi scheme. People are paying into it. That money is being spent. There are everybody knows that it is on a ticking clock. People my age and my husband and I, for example, we are fully operating on the assumption that there will not be that available to us and that we need to make provisions for our future. At a minimum, Social Security needs comprehensive reforms, means testing. It needs, if you want it to work, you want to keep it, cannot continue to draw it down irresponsibly without making any kind of provision for the future and for the people who expect it to be there and have been told that it will be there when right now it doesn't seem like there's a path for that. So we oppose this, and as long as Social Security exists and people are planning to use it, it needs to people need to be adults in the room and actually look at the real numbers for what this is going to mean, or give people the option to opt out and come up with other alternatives. Thank you.
Thank you. AVH, next caller, please.
Hello, my name is Michael Ryan, Michael, last name Ryan. I'm a longtime resident of Nevada. Please vote no on AJR 6, which makes the Social Security Fairness Act retroactive back to 2013. The Social Security Administration projects that they will be able to pay full benefits only until 2037. If the Social Security Fairness Act were made retroactive back to 2013, it would bankrupt Social Security sooner. This would be horrible. Please vote no on AJR 6, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Next caller, please.
Casey Rogers for the record. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Thank you so much. And if you could please spell your name for the record.
CASEYRODGERS. Thank you. Everybody has basically said everything I was going to say. I would just ask that you oppose this bill. We do not want to further jeopardize our Social Security as it is, as this is a bill that retroactively pays out up to 2013. It will bankrupt us. So please vote no. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Next caller.
There are no other callers at this time.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And now we're going to move to neutral. So neutral has to be really neutral, not trying to give an amendment because then that is actually in opposition. So if anyone is here to testify in neutral for AJR 6 in Carson City, please join the table. Seeing none, we will move to Las Vegas. Seeing none, AVH, we will move back to you for the phone lines for opposition, please. Oh, excuse me, neutral, sorry.
If you'd like to testify in neutral for AJR 6, please press *9 now to take your place in the queue. The public line is open and working. There are no other callers at this time.
Thank you so much. Member Miller, would you like to make any closing remarks?
Thank you so much, Chair, for the opportunity to make a few brief remarks. I would first like to thank the first opposition to the bill. That was also the nicest, kindest opposition because it was legitimate policy concern, so I appreciate that. There's no question, I mean, I know my entire life I've been hearing the fears and the concerns about Social Security, so being there when I retire. So that's not new or anything that any of us would dispute. But I believe, like anything else, it is time for our government and Congress to look and maybe change some of the ways that that Social Security works, and even with our spending as a whole. This is not the first time that there has been an issue with people being neglected or wrongly reduced in their Social Security. My grandmother, who is the person who first got me involved and interested in politics and dragged me around canvassing at 11 years old, she always referred to herself as a gap baby, or another term is notch baby. And those were for the individuals that were born between 1917 and those with grandmothers, everybody's, yep, between 1917 and 1921. And in the 70s or 80s, the government tried to switch the formula. So those people born within those years, they were the gap babies or the notch babies, meaning their Social Security was also reduced. Regretfully, I was never able to help my grandmother's Social Security before she passed. So I'm here trying to help everyone else's grandmother's Social Security right now. But again, we also, with government spending sometimes, we've seen a lot of things happen, and indiscriminately sometimes. And for not just people, but businesses as well. And it seems that when we have the ability to give tax breaks and waiving certain things and free indiscriminately to people, this is not a handout. It's not an ask for assistance. It's not an entitlement program. It's literally the money that people paid out of their individual hard-earned paychecks. These are our public employees who, for the most part in this country, it's always been, hey, here's the trade-off for the lower salary that you will work while risking your life, while the stressful environment was the benefits. And part of that major benefit was the retirement and the pension program. Again, we're just asking for that money to be returned. When we hear things like, let me say this. Answer me who else has been asked. Again, many people are still investing in other forms of retirement plans, multiple different, pension, Social Security, IRAs, mutual funds, all kinds of things. That's the wise things to do, right? But who else has been asked to lose up to half of their retirement investment? Has anyone been asked and said, with their IRA, we're going to take half, or we're going to take half of that pension? We haven't expected that out of anyone else and would think it was ludicrous. So again, we're just asking, especially in a country that was founded and continues to have the challenges and an issue that is really quite cantankerous for us, which is taxation, period. This is a situation where folks have been taxed and did not receive the return for the explanation of that tax. And so again, I'm just asking that people get their money back.
Thank you. And with that, we will close the hearing on AJR 6. Thank you again for everyone who was here today. And with that, we'll give some transition time. We will now open the hearing on Assembly Bill 237. As we transition, I will remind members that this is an example of an interim committee bill. That means this was a policy that was both heard and vetted and voted out during the interim Legislative Operations and Elections Committee to then become a bill here in the session. This measure authorizes any county to create the Office of Registrar of Voters, and we are Excited to have Assemblymember Moore as well as Vice Chair Gonzalez presenting here today. As a reminder, we will do 15 minutes of presentation. We'll get to members' questions and then do 30 minutes of support, opposition, and neutral. So when you are ready, you may begin.
Thank you, Chair Mosca and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Assemblymember Cecilia Gonzalez, representing Assembly District 16. Assembly Bill 237 comes to this committee from the Joint Interim Standing Committee on Legislative Operations and Elections. During the 2023-2024 interim, the interim committee heard testimony from several county election officials about the challenges they face in administrating elections, and a common theme was high workloads, particularly for county clerks who are also the county recorder or treasurer, or who may have other responsibilities besides elections. This committee also heard about the same workload challenges from several county clerks during the first week of this session. Election administration is becoming more and more of a full-time job in smaller counties other than Clark and Washoe. However, these county clerks are not afforded the same opportunity to focus solely on election administration. To help explain the differences in county election official positions across the state, we have provided a handout for this bill presentation. I don't believe it is up, but it is up on Nellis for folks to view. Apologies for that. In Clark and Washoe counties, the county election official is a register of voters appointed by the Board of County Commissioners, whose only job is to administer elections. Clark and Washoe counties separately employ county clerks to provide marriage licenses, business services, and passport services, while also preserving and maintaining county records, and also serve as the ex officio, sorry if I can't pronounce that word, clerk to the Board of County Commissioners and the district court within the county. In all other counties and Carson City, the election official is an elected county clerk who administers elections and handles all other clerk duties that I just mentioned. In 7 counties, the clerk is additionally responsible for county treasurer duties such as billing and collecting property taxes, reconciling county bank accounts, and overseeing county investment accounts. At one time, it may have been sufficient for only Clark and Washoe counties to have a full-time election administration position in the form of a registrar of voters and to combine election administration with other clerk and treasurer duties in small counties. However, we are continuing to hear from our county clerks that multiple roles and responsibilities are really testing their limits. This is not to say that they are unwilling to take on the high workloads. I want to commend all our county clerks who do an excellent job and have been doing an excellent job at administering our elections over the past few years in the face of many challenges and, again, very high workloads. Our election officials are extremely hardworking and very passionate about what they do, and for that, they really do deserve a high praise. However, we should not continue to overburden our county clerks, and Assembly Bill 237 seeks to alleviate high workloads for county clerks who are currently juggling multiple roles. At this time, I will turn it over to Assemblymember Moore. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Committee. Assemblymember Moore, for the record, CINTHIAMOORE. I'm going to go through the bill summary. Assembly Bill 237 authorizes but does not require the Board of County Commissioners of any county to create a registrar of voters position to administer counties. Now, that's an important point. It's to point out that it is not required, it's just simply an option. Currently, state law authorizes only counties with a population of 100,000 or more. This would be Clark and Washoe counties to create the office of Registrar of Voters. Assembly Bill 237 removes the population threshold and instead allows any county, regardless of population, to establish the office of Registrar of Voters. The intent of the bill is to give the counties the option to create a full-time elections position if they wish, but not require them to do so. If a Board of County Commissioners were to create an office of Registrar of Voters, the board would make appointments to the office and prescribe the qualifications, duties, and compensation of that office. This bill would not eliminate the position of county clerk, but instead shift election responsibilities from the clerk to the registrar of voters, with one small exception that the county clerk would still be responsible for preparing and delivering certificates of election. Again, this is enabling language only and does not impose requirements on the counties. This bill draft request was unanimously approved by the Joint Interim Standing Committee on Legislative Operations and Elections. Assembly Bill 237 is an effort to provide additional options to counties so they can choose how best to run elections in a way that works for them and how best to support their county employees. Chair Mosca and members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to present AB 237. And I hope you will join me in supporting the bill. Now we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Vice Chair and Assembly Member, and we do have the handout, so thank you so much. We will start. Does anyone have any questions? We will start with Assembly Member Hedege.
Thank you so much, Chair. And you actually answered a lot of my questions during the presentation, so thank you very much. And this is probably the shortest bill I've read this session. So, and again, it's permissible language, right? It's just saying, language originally read, in each county having a population of 100,000 or more, a Board of County Commissioners may create. And now it just reads, a Board of County Commissioners may create. That's simply what it does. It just removes that 100,000 population count. My first question was going to be how it came out of the Joint Interim Standing Committee, so thank you for answering that. It came out unanimous. And my second question was, during the Joint Interim Standing Committee, did you guys have the counties come present or and speak to the counties about this?
Thank you so much for the question, Cecilia Gonzalez. For the record, yes, we did hear from the counties during the interim as well as the first week of session, as we noted in our remarks, that this is something that, again, like you said, is permissive language that will really help alleviate some of these overwork loads that they've been experiencing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Committee, any other questions? Assemblymember Nadeem.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So my question is, do you think so that it's going to help the election taking place more efficiently?
Thank you so much for the question, Cecilia Gonzalez. For the record, yes, I do believe that this will help run our elections more efficiently and overall their offices as well. Thank you so much.
Assemblymember Cole.
Hello, thank you. So my question, I guess, is sort of on the democratic process, right? Because right now those positions are elected positions. And so of the 17 counties, 15 of them are rural and are under 50,000 people. And so this would allow the county commissioners to kind of take away the voice of the people, if you will, and who is running their elections. And so I'm just wondering, is there a concern that that kind of dilutes that democratic process?
Thank you so much for the question, Cecilia Gonzalez. For the record, I appreciate the question and the concerns. However, I don't believe that this takes away from that. We've heard for the last couple of years navigating very many challenges when it comes to some of the rules in administering some of these elections. And so this is feedback that the folks that are in these positions are doing every single day. I appreciate the question. I don't know if legal may have any comments they want to add.
I don't think so for legal, but I'll just add too that the county commissioners are elected, so folks could choose not to vote them in to make this decision. And again, it's enabling, so they don't have to. Assemblymember Moore?
Yeah, I wanted to add, and just piggyback a little bit of what you just said, Chair, Assemblymember Moore, for the record. This is just giving that option to the counties that want to do this and if it works for them. So if it is something that the county commissioners feel that, one, they have the funding to do, and two, this is something that will work best for them, this bill will allow them to do that, as well as during the first week or two of session, we did hear many presentations from different clerks, and I was surprised to learn that many of them are doing 2 or 3 different jobs at the same time.
Great, thank you so much. I think those are all of our questions, so we appreciate it, and we will move on to public testimony in support. So if you are here in Carson City for support, if you could please start joining the table. And don't forget to say and spell your name for the record. I will be timing for 2 minutes, and you may begin. I'm sorry, your mic's not on.
There we go.
There you go, thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair Mosca and Assembly members. My name is Ryan Bordish, spelled R-Y-A-N, and last name V-O-R-T-I-S-C-H, and I am the Northern Nevada Democracy Coordinator with Silver State Voices. On behalf of Silver State Voices and the Let Nevadans Vote Coalition, I'm here to support Assembly Bill 237. Nevada only has 2 counties with an established Registrar of Voters Office, or ROV, and that's Clark and Washoe counties. This means that for Nevadans in our remaining 15 counties, elections are run by administrators who are, at the same time, responsible for a completely different job, or at times, in some cases, jobs. While they are responsible for administering a secure, transparent, and accurate election administrators in these remaining 15 counties are also responsible for a wide array of duties, including preservation of county records, clerking for the Board of County Commissioners or District Court, providing business services, marriage licenses, or passport services, and in some cases dually acting as the county treasurer or county recorder. What does this mean? Nevada election administrators are overworked, underpaid, and lack the appropriate staffing they need to administer a smooth election. AB 237 creates a great opportunity for us to ensure our elections are administered by a dedicated team of election workers whose only responsibility is protecting the vote of their county's voters. What we appreciate about this legislation is that it allows county commission boards who know their budgets and staffing needs the best to ultimately decide if this policy addresses their needs. We urge your support in voting for AB 237. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Thank you, Chair Mosca and members of the committee. My name is Eric Chang, E-R-I-C-J-E-N-G. I'm the Executive Director of 1APIA Nevada, advocating for Asian Americans and Pacific Islander families here in Nevada. So this AB 237 empowers our counties with authority and autonomy and strengthen their governance infrastructure. And we are in full support because having a designated registrar, having the option to designate a registrar can streamline election procedure, provide focused expertise, and alleviate the administrative burden on county clerks. Urge your support for the bill and help ensure fair and efficient elections across Nevada. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else in Carson City? Seeing none, we will move down to Las Vegas.
Good afternoon, Chair Mosca and committee members. My name is Chanel Casanello, ChanelCassanello, and I am the campaign manager at All Voting is Local Action Nevada. We're an organization that advocates for policies and legislative priorities that expand voter access to build a democracy for us all. We support AB 237 as currently only 2 counties meet the required 100,000 population threshold to have a registrar of voters, and this bill would give Nevada's 15 rural counties the option to also have their own ROV. Throughout All Voting is Local Action's work with county officials, clerks have struggled to acquire the resources needed to administer demanding elections. Should newly eligible counties choose to create a registrar of voters office, this separation of duties and responsibilities would help alleviate the pressure clerks face and may reduce the high turnover rate in our state. Most importantly, this bill is not a mandate. It evens out the playing field for both counties and election officials. We urge you to support AB 237. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no one else in Las Vegas, we will open the phone lines, but I will read it out one more time in case. So if you'd like to provide testimony in support through the phone lines, call 888-475-4499 and enter the meeting ID 875-2150-4237. So AVH, when we're ready for our callers.
Thank you, Chair. If you'd like to testify in support of AB 237, please press star 9 to raise your hand to take your place in the queue.
Hello, chair members and the committee. My name is Paula Luna, Paula-Luna, and I am the Deputy Director of Battleborn Progress. AB 237 empowers counties with the option, not a mandate, to establish a registrar of voters office, improving local control over election administration. This enhances security, streamlines processes, and ensures dedicated oversight. With growing demands on election officials, this flexibility helps continue strengthen integrity and efficiency. I urge your support. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next caller, please.
Good evening, Chair and committee members. For the record, my name is Matilda Miller. That's Mathilda Miller, Government Relations Director, Native Voters Alliance Nevada, and we're in support of Assembly Bill 237. I echo the sentiments of my colleagues, but I also wanted to emphasize that election administrators have one of the most important jobs in our democracy. Running elections isn't something that can be done on the side. It requires focus, expertise, and an unwavering commitment to fairness and accuracy. And this is what this bill gives counties the option and autonomy to decide if they have the capacity to handle this. We urge you to support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Next caller.
Chair, there are no other callers on the line and in support at this time.
Thank you so much. We will now hear testimony in opposition of AB 237. We will start here in Carson City. So if you're here for opposition, please fill the table. And I don't see anyone in Las Vegas, but if anyone is there, please feel free to fill in the seats. Don't forget to say and spell your name for the record, and you may begin.
Good evening, Chair and Committee. My name is Lynn Chapman, Lynnchapman, and I'm the State Treasurer for the Independent American Party. I just wanted to bring up a couple of things. Registrars are appointed by the County Commission, and we do elect County Commission, but the registrars have no accountability to the people. And it's interesting because Washoe County, that's where I live, is Washoe County. They've appointed registrars for quite some time. And then the last couple of years, we've had maybe 4 or 5 different registrars. So our elections have been kind of crazy. We've had some real problems because we've had so many different registrars. And the other thing that I wanted to bring up is the cost. I don't see anything in here with a cost. If you're going to set up a government agency, don't you have to have some cost to it? So I just thought I would mention that as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next person.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Assembly Committee on Legislative Operations and Elections. For the record, my name is Joshua Skaggs with the Nevada Republican Party, JOSHUA, SKA-GGS. On behalf of the Nevada Republican Party, we oppose AB 237 because it eliminates the duties of the duly elected county clerk as the chief election official of the county and replaces them with an appointed registrar of voters. We believe this bill could lower our election integrity standards and could create a position susceptible to partisan political persuasion. Please leave the elections in the management of the duly elected county clerks in the counties that are less than 100,000 people, and do not silence the voices of Nevada voters. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next speaker.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, my name is Janine Hansen, JANINE-HANSEN. I'm the state president of Nevada Families for Freedom, and I do live in Elko. The last 2 years, we've had all kinds of meetings in Elko with County Commission, asking the county clerk to be there for accountability of what's going on in our elections. It's been a huge uproar for the last 2 years. And so that's one of the reasons I'm here, because I really feel like an elected county clerk in the rural counties is very important because they are accountable to the local people and not an appointed part of the bureaucracy. Another issue for rural counties is cost. If you have a new office, it's going to have staff, it's going to have space, more resources, et cetera. I think that'll be a huge issue for the rural counties. Yesterday, I spoke to one of the county clerks. I think it's important to notice that we didn't have any county clerks here supporting this bill. I think that's a significant issue. But yesterday, the one I talked to from a rural county said county clerks don't want to give up their election duties, but they need more resources and fewer mandates from the Secretary of State's office, and that they would be able to perform these duties, and they want to be accountable to the public. So we oppose this bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else here in Carson City, feel free to fill the chairs. Thank you. You may begin.
Good afternoon, committee members. My name is Joy Truszynski, Trushchenski. I am a non-paid lobbyist for conservative causes, and I'm a Navy veteran. Please vote no on AB 237, which allows rural counties to create the Office of Registers of Voters with non-elected positions. I support the election of county clerks who have responsibility for elections. Only Washoe County and Clark County have offices of registrar of voters with appointed members. Voters should have a say in who runs elections. Additionally, it will cost the other counties considerable amounts of money to create a new office with new staff and resources. Currently, there is no problems with the rural county elections, in my opinion. This is just another bill circumventing the people's vote. Please vote no on AB 237. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good evening, Chair and Assembly members. I'm Susan Rue, spelled R-U-C-H. I am the chairman of the Carson City Republican Party, but I am here on my own accord. I am opposed to this bill. We have a wonderful clerk recorder here in our own Carson City, and our elections run very smoothly. And yes, they are overworked. And I do know that if we're going to be spending this additional money for a registrar, why do we not take those funds and increase the salary of the clerk recorders to the same salary range that the voter registers are, and add additional staff to help them with all of their duty? Most clerk recorders that I know love their jobs. So I'm asking you to please vote no on this bill, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Penny Brock, for the record, Pennybrock. I'm from Washoe County. I have been involved in our election issues in Washoe County since 2021. We got a new county manager in 2019. They put the ROV under him, and we have had 4 ROVs since then. It has been nothing but chaos. The person that handles elections needs to be under an elected official. In many states, the ROV is an elected position. I think that's what our legislature needs to be looking at. A bill that those that handle elections will be elected by the people, so they are accountable. What I've heard the reason for this bill is because the clerks need more help. Well, then the clerk's office should be given more money to hire staff, not create a whole nother bureaucracy. This is a huge issue in Washoe County and Clark County. Those of you that represent Clark County, you should know that you've got problems in Clark County because of the ROV and lack of accountability. We in Washoe County know we've really got problems, and it needs to be fixed. It needs to be put under an elected official. Our county manager is a hired employee. There's no accountability there. So we as voters have one huge issue after another. I'm happy to tell you that Kash Patel was just appointed FBI director. He has said he's going to be investigating elections in certain states, one of which is Nevada. Now you might ask why. Well, Kash Patel is from Las Vegas. So
And
no
thank you,
wonder.
Speaker. We are at 2 minutes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else here in Carson City? I see no one in Las Vegas. AVH, if we can open the phone lines for opposition, please.
If you'd like to testify in opposition to AB 237, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Good evening, everyone. Cyrus Hojati, Cyrus Hojjaty. I stand in opposition. I will ditto the previous scholars. Yield.
Thank you. Next caller.
Good evening, Chair and Committee. My name is Jim DeGraffenreid, JIMDEGRAFFENREID. I am Nevada's Republican National Committee man here on behalf of the Nevada Republican Party in opposition to this bill. Our rural county clerks do an excellent job of administering elections. Their issues are not because they cannot do it, it's just because they have the mandates and the things that are put down on them by the legislature and by the Secretary of State. We believe that this bill does nothing to address any of those issues. We would actually prefer to see all registrars and clerks elected statewide, regardless of county and regardless of county size. The voters need to be able to select those who are going to administer their elections, and those who administer them need to be accountable to the voters. For all of those reasons, we oppose this legislation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next caller.
Casey Rogers, for the record, CASUYRODGERS. I'm here to ask you to vote no on AB 237. I don't trust any bill that works to subvert the current system where we, the people, elect government officials. They need to be held accountable. They need to be able to be held accountable. This takes away the ability of voters to directly vote for the person in charge of their election. I will also say the registers of voters are appointed and currently it is not working well in Washoe County. So that should be a good reason to vote no on this on its face. So please oppose AB 237, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next caller.
Hello, my name is Michael Ryan, MICHAELRYAN. I'm a longtime resident of Nevada and a Marine Corps veteran. Please vote no on Assembly Bill 237. Voters have more say in our elections with an elected county clerk in charge of elections instead of an appointed person. In addition, it could cost the counties a considerable amount of money to create a new office with the staff and resources necessary. So please vote no on Assembly Bill 237, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Next caller.
Good evening. My name is Ellen Gifford, ELLENGIFFORD. AB 237 allows the County Board of Commissioners to create the office of a registrar of voters, prescribe the qualifications, duties, and compensation of that office, and make appointments to that office. It states that the registrar of voters shall assume all of the powers and duties vested in and imposed upon the county clerk of the county with respect to elections. NRS 246010 states that county clerks shall be elected by the qualified electors of their respective counties at the general election. In keeping with that statute, it must be Nevada voters who elect the person responsible for the powers and duties vested in and imposed upon the county clerk of the county with respect to elections. Those powers and duties are mandated to an elected position. The people of Nevada elect the Secretary of State, who has mandated duties and powers. There is no process allowing the creation of another position with those same duties and powers and giving it another name. This practice must be upheld for the position of county clerk as well. In fact, NRS 244164 should be repealed and AB 237 should be declared invalid. Thank you.
Thank you. Next caller.
Good afternoon. My name is Iris Stone, IRISSTONE, and I'm a resident in Las Vegas, Nevada. I oppose AB 237. This bill allows the County Board of Commissioners to create the office of a Registrar of Voters. It states that the Registrar of Voters shall assume all of the powers and duties vested in and imposed upon the county clerk with respect to elections. This is in complete conflict with NRS 246010, which states that county clerks shall be elected by the qualified electors of their respective counties. In Nevada, it's the people who elect the person responsible for all the powers and duties vested in and imposed upon the county clerk of the county, which includes elections. As a matter of fact, NRS 244.164 is unlawful and really should be repealed. And of course, AB 237 should be withdrawn. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next caller.
Chair, the line is open and there are no more callers at this time.
Thank you so much. We will now open for anyone who would like to testify in neutral in AB 237. Anyone here in Clark County, in Carson City? It's late, or it's getting late. Okay, we will go down to Las Vegas. See anyone in neutral AVH, if you could just open the phone lines, please, for anyone testifying in neutral.
Thank you, Chair. If you'd like to testify in neutral for AB 237, please press *9 to take your place in the queue.
Good afternoon, Chair. Are you able to hear me?
We hear you, yes. If you could please state your name and spell it for the record.
Yes, I do apologize. May I proceed to comment in favor of this bill?
You can, because we were not in 30 minutes for either of them, so you can. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. My name is Kayla Maese, spelled Kaylah. Last name is Maese. I am a civil rights analyst for the ACLU of Nevada, who is also a table partner for the Let Nevadans Vote Coalition, and the ACLU of Nevada supports this bill. Thank you so much for letting me testify, Chair. Have a great day.
Thank you. We will make sure that's marked in support. AVH, any other callers in neutral today?
Chair, I have no more callers at this time.
Thank you. Assemblymember Moore and Vice Chair Gonzalez, I'll invite you back to the table. Thank you. And we do have one additional question from Assemblymember Monroe Moreno.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I'm so sorry. Listening to some of the comments that were made, this was an interim committee bill, correct?
Cecilia Gonzalez, for the record, yes.
During the interim committee, I didn't serve on this interim committee, but there's oftentimes people that testify in an interim committee that don't often come into the legislative session. Did you have clerks that presented during interim on this legislation?
Yes.
Last question, just to confirm, this is enabling language. We're not forcing any county to change the way that they're currently handling voting in their counties, correct?
Cecilia Gonzalez, for the record, correct. I do apologize to Assemblymember Cole earlier, your question. This is my third or fourth hearing of the day. This does not take away people's voice in voting because we vote for our county commissioners. We vote for them to make these decisions that are best for their county, just like our voters vote for us to make the best decisions for their districts, right? And so I just wanted to get that on the record as well, and I appreciate the questions. Assemblymember, do you have any more?
I do not. Thank you so much for the clarification, and thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, and if you have any closing remarks, feel free to proceed.
I just want to thank the committee. This bill draft request, again, was unanimously approved by the Joint Interim Standing Committee during the interim. This bill is an effort to provide additional options for counties so that they can best choose how to run their elections in a way that works for them. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. We will now close the hearing on AB 237, and thank you again. We will move on to our last item on the agenda today, to public comment. Each person has 2 minutes to provide testimony. Written public comment may also be submitted to the committee up to 24 hours of the meeting. I will remind everyone again of the call-in number for the last time is 888-475-4499, and the meeting ID is 875-2150-4237. If you are here to make public comment not on the current bills that we just talked about, but public comment in general, feel free to join at the table here in Carson City. Seeing none, I don't see anyone in Las Vegas, but in case. And thank you, AVH. We will move to the phone lines for public comment.
If you'd like to provide public comment, please press *9 to take your place in the queue.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Cyrus Hojati, CYRUS-HOJJATY. I'd like to share my experience at the convention, the International Builder Show, if that is okay. I took the monorail. It was very convenient. It was very efficient. I just want to let you know that we've got to have a priority towards mass transit. Shortly after, I saw actor David Spade, an amazing show. I toured a lot of the exhibits regarding bathrooms and kitchens and faucets and so forth. One thing I wanted to discuss was tiny homes. There were duplexes. There were many different cottages. I think you guys should look at other states and make it easier to build these types of residential structures. They're more affordable, better quality. And I have to tell you, it's one of the things I enjoy living here. All these great, amazing conventions, so much to do. We really have it good in so many ways out here. Here's the thing. Guess how much I pay to attend this convention? Nothing. Oh, but everything is so overpriced here. And I'm looking at this Vegas loop line, and the lines are really, really long. So food for thought. I don't think that system is working as efficient as I thought. But other than that, thank you so much for sharing my story, and hopefully you guys will absorb these ideas. Yield my time.
Thank you. Next caller.
Thank you, Chair. The public line is open and working, and there are no other callers at this time.
Thank you so much. I will close public comment. Our next meeting will be Thursday, February 27th at 4 p.m. I thank all the members for all their hard work today for our first hearings, and seeing no further business before us, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.